When it comes to Disney's value resorts, value does not automatically equal boring, not in the slightest, nor does it necessarily equal cheap in any manner of the word. So we're going to show you the exciting world of giant character theming, over-the-top pools, awesome transportation perks, and a few major downfalls for these more budget-friendly hotels in Walt Disney World. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Now, if you're starting to plan your Disney World vacation and you've reached the stage where you're going, this is gonna be fun and all, but where on earth are we supposed to stay? Then welcome, you've just discovered the very video that might have the answers you're searching for. Disney's value resorts are gonna be your more affordable option when it comes to choosing a Disney hotel stay, but we'll get more into the actual price points later on in the video. Why don't we take a moment to meet the value resort team, Team Value Resort. In this corner, we've got the All-Star Resorts, a triad of hotels with one representing sports, another representing music, and one more representing movies. And in this corner, we've got the Skyliner Resorts, including Pop Century, which celebrates the decades ranging from the 1950s to the 1990s, and Art of Animation, which celebrates some of Disney and Pixar's most successful animated films like Finding Nemo, Cars, The Little Mermaid, and The Lion King. Fun fact, Art of Animation was originally supposed to be the second half of Pop Century, called the Legendary Years, which would have represented the 1900s to the 1940s, but I guess they figured stuff like cholera and polio and 2 world wars weren't really something they wanted to commemorate via giant colorful icons on the stairways. So instead, it was half built and then abandoned during the 2008 recession, and Disney switched the design over from the Legendary Years and honed in on the wonderful world of animation instead, opening Art of Animation in 2012. I remember this vividly because it opened when I was pregnant with my son, and subsequently I got super bad morning sickness when they housed me in a cozy cone room that was entirely burnt orange. No idea why, but I blame the room. And since we're on the subject, value resorts are most well known for their vibrant colors and larger-than-life props. So at All-Star Sports, you're going to see oversized helmets and footballs, and at Pop Century Resort, you're going to see 9 massive bowling pins around the 50s section. Secret alert here, the 10th bowling pin is the bowling pin pool itself. And at Art of Animation, you're going to see a giant King Triton looming over you, and he definitely looks like a fish dad king who's seen things over the years. Now, while folks might think the color schemes here are a little too intense, others might be in awe of the bright and bold hues and patterns. It's Bria. Bria's in awe of the bright and bold patterns. I, on the other hand, have a hard time forgiving the burnt orange for its crimes against me. See, Bria and I, opposites, but the perfect team. Now, for the record, this is only a small sliver of Disney's hotel offerings. There are several moderate, deluxe, and DVC villas you can choose from as well. And if you want to learn more about all of Disney's different resorts in one easy-to-download free guide, go ahead and scan the QR code you see on the screen right now, or head to disneyfoodblog.com/hotels after this. And we're going to send you our Disney Hotel Guide that not only tells you about each of the resorts, but ranks them all for you too. That way you can see which options are our all-time favorites and which ones we could probably live without. Okay, next thing to know about the value resorts. You might be squished, but not necessarily. It's pretty easy to talk about value resort room types because they're pretty straightforward. At Pop Century, All-Star Movies, and All-Star Sports, your only room option is going to be a standard room, which could come with 1 king bed or 1 queen bed, plus 1 queen-size table bed, which is basically a Murphy bed, like the table turns into a bed. It's comfortable, don't worry. Now, these standard rooms aren't too shabby if you're traveling with a small group or if you're not planning on spending a whole lot of time in your hotel room anyways. But they can start to feel pretty cramped, especially if you've got like 4 people in there and everyone's trying to get ready in the morning and there's only 1 bathroom and you'll have to share it with the entire group, and you get it. Now, Art of Animation and All-Star Music also have standard rooms for you to purchase, but along with those standard options, you've got family suites that you can choose to book instead for a whole lot of extra room. Art of Animation has the most family suites featured across its sweeping resort, while the Little Mermaid building is going to be where you'll find all the standard rooms there. The Lion King building, Finding Nemo, and that Cars building hold on to the family suites, which are highly themed around those animated films, and also feature a separate bedroom and living room area, a kitchenette, and best of all, not 1, but 2 bathrooms, and there is much rejoicing. Now, your most affordable family suite option is going to be at All-Star Music. Similar to Art of Animation, these rooms are going to have your separate bedroom and second bathroom, a kitchenette area with an actual fridge, which I really enjoy, like a big fridge, like an apartment-sized fridge. And these will also be able to sleep up to 6 guests. The family suites in All-Star Music are located in the Calypso and Jazz buildings. All right, the value resort transportation can be a best of times, worst of times sort of situation. It can be the best of times when you're staying at the Pop Century or Art of Animation resorts because you're not just going to have the Disney buses at your disposal anymore. You're also going to have the Skyliner, which can quickly transport you to Epcot and Hollywood Studios or the other Disney resorts located on the Skyliner route, like the Riviera, Caribbean Beach, and even the Epcot area resorts, the Boardwalk Inn and Yacht and Beach Club, and the Swan and Dolphin. Let's not forget those. Pop Century and Art of Animation share a Skyliner station, which is located at Generation Gap Bridge over Hourglass Lake, and features a colorful design to echo the vibrantly themed resorts. The Skyliner gondolas are also pretty stinking cute too, and while the naked ones will give you a clearer view out the windows surrounding you, there's something still extra exciting about being assigned a Skyliner cabin that's wrapped with your favorite character like Stitch or the Hitchhiking Ghost or Nick Wilde or whatever. Now, from this station, you'll travel directly to Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort and transfer over to your next gondola that'll take you the rest of the way to your final destination. Just be aware that if there are thunderstorms in the area, the Skyliner is required to close for the safety of the riders. So if that happens during your trip, Disney's going to direct you to more buses that run to the usual Skyliner destinations instead. For the other theme parks, Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom, you're still going to have to take the Disney bus to reach those spots. Same thing goes for Disney Springs too. It's bus or bust. But since we're on the subject of buses, let's get to the worst of times part of this transportation point. The only transportation available at the All-Star Resorts to get anywhere around property are those Disney buses. Now, I know you guys think I hate the Disney buses, and I really don't, I promise you. In fact, when my son was little, that was his favorite ride in all of Disney, the Disney buses. So I would spend entire days just riding on the Disney buses. He'd fall asleep and take a nap, and, I'd sit there on the bus for a very long time. It's an interesting choice that I actually bought park tickets for those days. Anyway, it's just, I know from personal experience that while some of my best Disney memories are all thanks to riding around on the buses, some of my most miserable Disney memories are also bus related, because when it's the end of a long park day and your feet hurt and you just want to get back to the hotel, the last thing you want to do is stand in an uber long line to board a bus, which, depending on the crowd levels that day, as well as the crowd levels of your resort, could be a solid 30-minute wait before you finally get to board one, and then you get to stand up all the way back, and it's not great, but it is free. Anyway, I digress. I'm just not going to slander the All-Star buses. I'm making sure you're fully aware of what you're signing up for. Each of the All-Star Resorts' sole bus stop areas are located right in front of their lobbies. And while you might think, great, that means that once I board one of the buses, I don't have to worry about said bus making any extra stops along the way, then you might be shocked when you board your All-Star Sports bus that's going to take you to Epcot and suddenly find yourself over at All-Star Music, picking up more guests. According to the Disney website, bus transportation may be shared between the All-Star Resorts, depending on the demand for buses. So, peak times, like park opening and closing, may call for each resort to have their own bus transporting guests to and from the theme parks, but in the middle of the day, you might find yourself in an All-Star bus loop. Okay, this is a spicy topic alert. Disney advertises their value resorts as a hotel option that's easier on your budget, but is that actually the case? Let's break it down. For a standard room at one of Disney's All-Star Resorts, the lowest you're going to see these rooms potentially drop to, minus any discounts, is $130 per night around slow season. But during peak season, like those popular 3-day weekends or around spring break, even standard value rooms at the All-Stars can hike up to $260 plus per night. The highest the standard room prices can get is usually about $300 around the week of Christmas, which is usually an average price point reserved for the moderate resorts. That's crazy. Now, meanwhile, the All-Star Music family suites typically range around $330 to $600 per night. That's $600 is, of course, during holiday season again. More often than not, we tend to see those family suites average around the $400 price point, which is still the cheapest option you're going to find on Disney property when it comes to a dedicated bedroom with a closing door and 2 bathrooms. And just basically a more spacious room option. Now, when you hop over to the Disney Skyliner resorts, prices are going to creep up a little bit more since you got the advantage of the Skyliner that makes staying at either hotel more appealing. Pop Century will still be far and away your most affordable Disney hotel option along the Skyliner route. Standard rooms here tend to cost $180 at their lowest, but can shoot up to $330 to $390 during peak season times. On average, though, you'll more than likely see standard rooms here dance around the $200 to $250 per night marker. Then there's the Art of Animation Resort, which has garnered the title of being a Value Plus hotel simply because it's the keeper of the priciest value resort rooms you'll come across on Disney property. The standard Little Mermaid rooms can be as low as $210 per night if the demand for them is low, but more often than not, they'll probably cost you around $270 to $300 per night, or even $400 plus if you're staying here during the week of Christmas. And if you think that's expensive, just wait till you hear about the Art of Animation family suites. Once again, these will usually be more affordable than other suite options around property, and they'll cost about $520 to $580 per night during non-peak times. But watch out, because on average, you'll usually see these rooms marked at $600 to $700 per night. And during Christmas time, we're almost reaching quadruple digits here, with nightly prices listed for $900 plus. Now, don't get me wrong, we really do enjoy staying at these value resorts, but when you really think about it, you're potentially paying over $200 per night for basically a motel stay, with the exception of the family suites at Art of Animation. Your door is going to open onto a concrete outdoor thoroughfare, which I don't know about you, but that doesn't feel worthy of a $200 price point. Regardless, when you stay at one of these value resorts, you're paying for the overall convenience, the park benefits, and the privilege of staying inside the Disney bubble, where you're going to be surrounded by Disney theming all trip long. And depending on who you ask, that might be absolutely worth the price point when all is said and done. That being said, before you book a value resort, please check on Disney's special offers, deals, and discounts page via their website to see if you can apply some extra savings to your hotel or motel purchase. Oftentimes, Disney releases hotel promotions on the website that are going to help shave down that resort price tag for you. And you know our mantra here, don't ever pay rack rate for your hotel. You can always find a discount. Now, you're just going to want to make sure you read that fine print before you get too excited for those savings, since they may not be eligible for the room type you want to book. Also, keep in mind that special offers do book up, so even if your trip is still a ways out, it might be a good idea to book a room when you find a discount that'll give you a really good deal on your upcoming stay before they sell out. Okay, let's talk pros and cons of the value resort food courts. Let me tell you a little story about the early years of value resort food courts, because they used to be so much better than they are currently. Back in 2009, Pop Century used to have that Mom's Night Out meal over at Everything Pop, where you could get a full home-cooked meal served to you in a TV dinner-style tray. It was super cute. And then when Art of Animation first opened in 2012, Landscape of Flavors was very passionate about their global cuisine offerings, with items ranging from tandoori shell-on shrimp to Mongolian grilled fish to create your own pasta stations. And even All-Star Movies had more adventurous items back in the day, hiding out on a secret menu you could only access via one of those retro viewfinders with hush-hush items like poutine and a bacon mac and cheese dog and a cinnamon bun and candied bacon cheeseburger. Oh my gosh, you guys remember we used to talk about that all the time on this channel, didn't we? Anyway, nowadays, all the value resort food courts have been so pared down that they all feel like they've got practically the same menu, with a few specialty items located here and there. And that's pretty sad, to be frank. That being said, those value resort food court options can still be one of the best meals you have on property, maybe not because of quality, but because of overall convenience. The value resort food courts have a good array of quick service options that cater to a variety of different palates and picky eaters, so you don't have to stress over whether little Timmy is going to be able to find his latest food fixation, fries and chicken strips, because they're going to have them at these locations. The food court hours are also convenient for those who plan to hit up the parks early and stay there pretty late, since the value resort food courts are typically open between 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. That means you'll find breakfast offerings at these food courts too, but even if you don't have time to swing by the food court before you're off to rope drop a park, you'll be happy to know that there are Keurig machines in each value resort room with complimentary Joffrey's coffee packets for a speedy Java jolt on the go. Now, if you can't tell, I am pretty passionate about my Disney dining because I hate it when I see you getting so excited about a certain meal or restaurant and wind up disappointed in the end because Disney had to make some big changes, for better or for worse. And because there are hundreds of places to eat around Disney World, it can feel like the spin of a wheel or the throw of the dart when it comes to whether you're going to actually enjoy a certain dining experience in the Disney bubble or not. But that's why the team and I have created the 2024 DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining. It's up on dfbstore.com if you want to grab it. That's where we feature updated reviews and pictures and details about every single restaurant. I am not kidding. I mean every single one of them, all 200 plus. All in one digital download, along with our very best tips and strategies that we've gathered from literal decades worth of Disney World trips. We've even got a special discount code for DFB viewers too. Go ahead and type in code YouTube before you check out to save some money on your total purchase. I hope you like it. Next, I'm going to tell you something that may be hard for you to hear. Your kids might end up liking the value resort pools better than the parks. But it's hard to blame them. Not only do these pools help keep you cool during those sweltering Orlando days, but they're just as heavily themed as the rest of these hotels. Over at Art of Animation, you can dive into the Big Blue Pool, which is the biggest pool in Disney World. You can also swim in the Cozy Cone or the Flippin' Fins pool here too. But really, all of the value resorts have themed pools like these, based around movies like The Three Caballeros and Fantasia, or over at All Star Sports, you've got pools themed around, well, sports. Imagine that. Now, if only they had a Bills pool, that's where you'd find me waiting all day. And get this, if you're staying at an all-star resort, you're allowed to pool hop between the other all-star resort pools too. So for instance, if you're staying at the All-Star Music and you've already checked out the Calypso pool and the Piano pool, you can hop over to the other all-star pools at movies and sports to get a little change of poolside scenery. Note, pool hopping is not allowed for Disney resorts otherwise, aside from being able to jump between the Port Orleans Riverside and French Quarter pools, but that's a moderate resort topic that we're going to hold off on for another day. Also, resort pools are for Disney hotel guests only. Now, we have seen Disney using wristbands for some of their pools just to help crack down on the pool usage by non-guests. But if you will need one while you're here, typically there'll be a cast member located near the pool entrance to check guests in and give them the wristband seal of approval as they come in. This hasn't been a major switch up over at the value resorts yet, but we have seen it popping up near the Fuentes del Moro pool, the moderate Caribbean Beach Resort, so just something you might need to be on the lookout for, just in case. Now, while the value resort pools are super cool to splish and splash around throughout the day, just be sure that they are missing key pool features that other moderate and deluxe resort main pools tend to have, like water slides and hot tubs. But what the value resorts are not missing are those pool bars, which are going to hook you up with a refreshing cocktail or mocktail, or maybe even a small snack depending on which pool bar you're at. All right, this is my favorite thing to talk about. Let's talk about the perks. The value resorts might not have as many amenities and perks as the moderate and deluxe resorts have, but that doesn't mean they're left high and dry with zero benefits whatsoever. For example, value resorts are still included in the early theme park entry benefit, which allows Disney's hotel guests to enter any of the parks on any day 30 minutes before the general public. There are also several activities and recreational opportunities beyond just the pools offered throughout the week to make your resort stay a little more Disney-fied and entertaining for the whole family. Some of those activities will cost you extra, like t-shirt tie-dyeing, make your own yo-yo, paint classes, a specialty for the Art of Animation Resort, design your own mosaics, and make your own vinyl record, which is a specialty for All-Star Music. There's Make Your Own Walk of Fame Star, which is for all-star movies, and playing games at the arcades. You might even be able to enter into an arcade tournament if you're confident in your skills. And other activities are absolutely free, like scavenger hunts and poolside games and trivia, bingo sessions, pajama parties complete with plushie parades, glow parties, family wellness dance classes, nightly campfires, movies under the stars, and there's even a nice little walking path around Hourglass Lake between Art of Animation and Pop Century, where I love taking a morning stroll because it's just so peaceful and serene and gives you that chance to really take a deep breath and say, I'm on vacation. Now, it's important to note that activities don't only vary by resort, but they also vary by day. Aside from that Hourglass Lake stroll, that place is always there, movies under the stars, and campfires. Those are pretty much a daily, nightly thing. So make sure to track down your resort's weekly activities board, which should be located somewhere on the lobby or near the main pool, or you can ask the front desk cast member about what'll be available during your stay, and they should get you the updated activity schedule. Okay, time to hit you with the weird stuff now. When you stay at one of the value resorts, brace yourself for the following scenarios. 1, you go from being at Disney World to band camp. On top of being the more affordable Disney hotel option, value resorts can hold a lot of guests at one time, and that means big school groups who are traveling for sports and band and choir events will typically take advantage of the value resorts during their trips, meaning you might be staying at a resort with a whole bunch of excited kids or teens. Nothing wrong with a little extra commotion unless you're trying to sleep and the school groups are still running up and down the hallways or staying up giggling in their rooms next door. Those hotel walls are paper thin, folks. Now, I'm not saying you'll for sure be vacationing alongside a school trip, but do keep in mind that it could very well be the case. Even without the big groups, though, these resorts can get loud anyway, since they're one of the more popular places to stay for families with younger kids, which is a lot of Disney's clientele. Now, sports and band groups do tend to flock into value hotels because they're the most affordable option. So heads up, you might have a bunch of cheerleaders practicing outside your room at 6:30 a.m. Just happens. Scenario 2, your feet might be freezing. Aside from the Little Mermaid rooms at Art of Animation, all of Disney's value hotel rooms have recently received renovations that were super necessary because those rooms were in major need of some TLC. But during these makeovers, Disney did wind up stripping the carpet off the floors and replacing them with hardwood or vinyl, whatever. Now, I know that many of you will disagree with me, but I am a huge fan of carpet in hotel rooms. I know you think it's dirty, you think it's awful, but I hate cold feet, and I hate getting a bunch of dirt on my feet that I then, or sand or whatever, and then I have it in my bed, and I hate that. Anyway, Bria, of course, disagrees with me. She likes this change because she thinks hotel carpets are gross. But that's just her 2 cents. That being said, there are 2 changes to the rooms that both Bria and I can 100% agree on. Firstly, the fact that you can flip one of the beds up into the wall for extra floor space during the day. That's a nice touch. And secondly, the whole shampoo, conditioner, body wash that's now bolted to the wall above the bathtub is so not our favorite design ever. So if you're taking a bath or if you're giving your kid a bath and you want those toiletries next to you instead of having to reach out for them each time you need them, consider packing your own shampoos from home before you take off for vacation. And scenario 3, your step counter is going to praise you. Your feet will not. Hello, sprawling value resorts. Disney's value resorts are massive, and depending on what building you're placed in, you might be walking a whole lot more each day than you expected. You can purchase a preferred room for a few dollars extra each night, like $15 to $20 more if you want to stay in a room that's closer to your hotel's main amenities, like the lobby and the food court, the gift shop, the bus and Skyliner stations. But if you don't end up doing that, here are the value resort buildings that'll keep you furthest away from all the hullabaloo. For All-Star Sports, Home Run Hotel is going to be the farthest out, which I guess makes sense because if you hit a home run, it's going to be going, gone. For All-Star Movies, Mighty Ducks is going to be the farthest building. And to all you kids out there asking who are the Mighty Ducks, ask your mom and dad. For All-Star Music, Country Fair is way out in the boonies, super far away from the resort lobby. Sorry, country music fans. For Art of Animation, the Little Mermaid building is swimming out at sea away from all the other buildings, which I guess makes sense since those rooms are your most affordable option here. And for Pop Century, we're isolating the 80s and 90s, which if you're a millennial, you might be used to anyways. Now, while being away from all the main amenities can be burdensome, some folks actually prefer the buildings that are far away from everything, since they tend to be quieter, and if you're driving, your room might still be pretty close to where you parked your car, making the travel time not as big of a burden after all. All right, congrats. You are all Disney Value Resort experts now. How do you feel? Do you feel like an expert? If you don't and you've still got tons of questions, that's all right. We've got tons of Disney Resort videos left for you to explore too, with even more on the way. And don't forget to pick up that free Disney Hotel Guide for even more resort info at disneyfoodblog.com/hotels, and we'll send it straight to your email faster than you can say, "Why is King Triton staring at me that way?" Also, don't forget to ask a bunch of questions in the comments. We will come through and answer as many as we can, and whatever we can't, we'll make sure to get it into another video. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.